So apparently the acting ICE director just dropped receipts on what's really happening in Chicago. And folks, it's not the Windy City, it's the Mayhem City. Over 550 illegal migrants locked up so far. And let me tell you, this ain't jaywalking tickets. We're talking robberies, assaults, carjackings, gangs running wild, like it's Grand Theft Auto Chicago edition. Think about that number for a second, 550 arrests? That's not one bad apple. That's the whole produce section at Walmart. And that's only the ones ICE actually caught. You know how much crime has to be bubbling under the surface for them to scoop up that many? It's like fishing if you catch 550 in one net. Imagine how many are still swimming around out there. Meanwhile, city officials keep acting like it's all good. You ask them about the crime spike, and they start mumbling about economic opportunities and community partnerships. Bro, nobody wants a community partnership with the dude who just stole their Kia. And let's talk about the people on the ground. Chicago residents are out here saying it feels like the streets are run by gangs more than the government, businesses closing early, neighborhoods turning into no-go zones. Yet the mayor is smiling in press conferences saying, we're addressing the root causes. Oh, really? Because I'm pretty sure the root cause of getting pistol whipped on the south side is the criminal holding the pistol. So yeah, ICE is calling it mayhem, but for regular Chicagoans, it's Tuesday.
According to Homeland Security, over 500 arrests have been made in the first 2 weeks of their operation in Chicago. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons joins me here in New York today. How many of these arrests, 500 people, how many were violent criminals?
Honestly, hundreds. So out of, as of this morning, we're over 550 arrests. And what ICE is doing at Operation Midway Blitz is we are focusing on those criminal aliens that have been released from sanctuary jurisdictions. And those are the worst of the worst that we're out there looking for.
So the people that you arrested, 550 in Chicago, they were criminals.
They were criminals.
They were criminals not just because they crossed the border illegally, but because they committed crimes.
No, more than 70% of the people we arrest are criminal aliens. Now, not only do they have criminal records here, some of these individuals have criminal records in their home countries that we know of, but yet jurisdictions like Chicago, like Illinois, just release them back to the streets to reoffend. That's what ICE is focused on.
That's ridiculous. Why would any jurisdiction in America, sanctuary city or otherwise, protect known violent criminals? Why do they do that?
That's what's frustrating for us is, I can give you a prime example. Within the past 24 hours, we arrested an individual that did 9 years in prison, in state prison, for multiple counts of strangulation, domestic violence, criminal mischief, violating protective orders. But yet those are the people they want to protect, right? Those are the ones that they want to oppose ICE and don't want us to take into custody. For me and the men and women of ICE, it's mind-boggling, because why would you shield those criminal aliens, the ones that are out there causing mayhem, causing harm? I mean, Operation Midway Blitz, we're doing that in honor of Katie Abraham. Young, beautiful girl that lost her life to a DUI crash by someone that shouldn't have been in our country. That's what we're focused on. And we really wish that elected officials would stand with us to go after those criminal aliens.
Now here's the thing, 550 arrests is just what ICE managed to round up. That's the official stat. But anyone with common sense knows the real number of criminal migrants running around Chicago is way higher. It's like when the teacher catches the one kid cheating on the test. You know he wasn't the only one copying answers. But instead of admitting it, Chicago politicians spin the numbers like they're auditioning for Dancing with the Stars. Oh, crime is down overall, really. Down where? Because last I checked, people are still getting carjacked in broad daylight. But hey, if you redefine crime enough times, maybe technically it went down. And every time ICE tries to clean house, the political class flips out. They cry, that's fear-mongering. That's xenophobic? No, my dude, that's called law enforcement. If someone gets busted for assault and drug trafficking, the fact they crossed the border illegally is not a cultural quirk. It's two crimes stacked on top of each other. The director basically called it out. It's organized crime, gangs exploiting sanctuary city loopholes, and politicians turning a blind eye because it doesn't fit their narrative. The math ain't lying, but the politicians, oh, they're doing backflips to protect their talking points.
And we are now in week 2 of the official Operation Midway Blitz. Let's bring in political reporter Paris Schutz now.
Yeah, Paris, tell us about what we've been experiencing. Do we know how many people have been detained as a result?
According to the Department of Homeland Security, they're saying that Operation Midway Blitz, since it launched about 2 weeks ago, has detained over 400 folks, although an AP article just came out said it was more like 550. Now, they've claimed that they are targeting violent criminals, although we know from reporting they accidentally detained a U.S. citizen near Elgin and let him go last week and shot and killed an undocumented immigrant, Silverio Villegas Gonzalez, in Franklin Park about 10 days ago. They say had a history of reckless driving. Now, today, Illinois Senator Dick Durbin says he's not necessarily buying the official numbers.
Fewer than 30% of those who've been arrested have any kind of criminal background whatsoever. So 70% of the people who are being detained have no criminal record. The president can rant about rapists and murderers and terrorists and criminally insane people coming in as immigrants, but those who are being arrested don't have any indication of that behavior. So if we're going to make America safe, let's put the resources into stopping criminals.
And the comments come after several days of clashes, as you saw, between a handful of protesters and ICE and Border Patrol agents. A spokeswoman for the Department of Homeland Security blamed the actions and rhetoric of Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor J.B. Pritzker as escalating these tense situations.
It is incumbent upon J.B. Pritzker, Mayor Brandon Johnson to turn down the rhetoric, because they are repeating and really turning to violence. You see them really depraved individuals who are being held in this processing facility. Why do they want them out? Why do they want them released? It makes no sense, and you're just putting Chicago residents in further danger.
And according to DHS, as you said, that facility will stay open, and we do expect protesters and demonstrators to be out there today, later on this afternoon, and most days this week as this goes on. Sylvia and Terrence will have a lot more on this on Chicago Report, 10 o'clock tonight.
No, you will. Thank you, Paris.
You got it.
And here's where it gets real. It ain't the politicians in their fancy offices dealing with this. It's regular Chicagoans. The single mom just trying to take her kids to school without getting followed. The delivery driver hustling to make a living, who suddenly has to play dodge the carjacker. The seniors waiting at the bus stop, looking over their shoulder every 5 seconds. The acting ICE director said it straight, it's mayhem, but the people living it, they already knew it's their neighborhoods, their safety, their peace of mind being sacrificed for political optics. Meanwhile, the same leaders who tied ICE's hands go home at night to private security, locked gates, and wine cellars. They don't feel the chaos. They just preach about it from a podium. And here's the wildest part. The people who dare complain about it are the ones being shamed. If you point out the crime spike, you're racist. If you say ICE should be allowed to do its job, you're anti-immigrant. Nah, bro, you're pro-common sense. There's a big difference between someone coming here legally, working hard, building a better life, and someone running a smash-and-grab ring in broad daylight. But until Chicago leaders stop pretending and start protecting their own residents, nothing changes. It's not just mayhem, it's policy-made mayhem. So subscribe, like, and share. Also comment below. Peace out, family.